Wendy Abruzzini from pinkcollaronline.com. Today I'm super excited to continue our second video for powerful stories from powerful women, and I am so fortunate today because I get to interview the beautiful Farrah Lippincott. And she has her own photography studio, which is actually how we met. And I'll get to that story in just a moment. But her website is faldesigns.net. And I've got to tell you what an amazing lady this is. I knew from the moment I met her that I needed to talk with her.
We had a good time that day, didn't we? Yeah.
We did. She actually did my holiday headshots, which by the way are on my website. And we did the headshot shoot here in the amazing Makery in downtown State College. And I've got to tell you, this is the coolest place ever. So
such a fun space, such a fun vibe, which makes it so much fun to come to, because we were able to do it a couple different setups, so it was really nice and to do it all in one place.
Absolutely. So if you are in downtown State College at all, you come to the Makery as well, because it's an amazing space, and I just love being here. So we're going to talk a little bit today about your career evolution and where you started, because I feel like after speaking with you, I was just like, this lady knows her stuff, and she's found her passion, and she's had to make sacrifices, and a lot of women out there need to know your story because they might be in that same situation. And I feel like it's so valuable to hear it from another woman, and you just have this great story. So I'm going to let you kind of talk about your past and where you ended up and how you ended up where you're at.
I love that word, evolution. So I come from a generation, and I feel really old saying that you do what you went to school for. And so for me, when I broke away from what I went to school for, it was a huge sense of uncertainty and shame, and, you know, would people understand? Would my parents understand? And there were a lot of reasons for it, but I feel like that was, it's very empowering to get through that and realize you could do whatever. You're not stuck in what you're doing. You're not stuck in your 9 to 5. You're not stuck in a job that you don't like. You can make that work for you. So that word evolution is so key to watching so many people flourish. And to add on to what you said before, I love the phrase right now, empowered women empower women. And that's what you're doing. That's what your name of cave is, and I love it. So I did go to school for architecture. I was the kid that had a sketchbook that was drawing plans all through middle school and high school, and I loved it. I would get the Architectural Digest, like that was my idea of a fun read. So I knew that that was what I wanted to do in school, and I couldn't imagine picking anything else to do. Went to the University of Miami, had a great experience, loved it, and I loved architecture. I think we talked about this when we met, was my progression. I went up to Charlotte and I worked there for 2 years in a wonderful firm, and I loved it. And I actually kind of thought that if I had left architecture from that firm, I might long to be back there. It was a different kind of feeling, but I had met someone and we moved up here to State College, and I was working in a firm that did feel like work. So I worked there for 4 years. The recession hit architecture a little bit later. So while people were losing jobs and consolidating jobs, we still had work on our tables. So it hit a couple years later, and then we didn't have the projects come in while the recession was going on. And I had gotten let go. At that point, I had a 10-month-old at home. A 10-month-old with special needs. It was my oldest with Down syndrome. So we were doing therapy appointments, and he was in a daycare center, and I said, my whole perspective changed. All of a sudden my goals had changed, and it was one of the first really like rolls of the dice that I was like, you know what, this the path that I'm going on might not suit me right now. So I went on a couple interviews, nothing really panned out, and I was like, I kind of want to be here for him. I was always never going to be a 24/7 mom, so he just went down to part-time care, and I was at home, and I started out sewing and doing craft fairs and making baby things. I was known as the sling lady. People would see me in Target and be like, "Oh, it's the sling lady," and they would know me from Arts Fest or another fair. And I slowly but surely, we did baby signs with Jackson. And our teacher, we took our class and then she left town. So I became certified and taught that because I loved giving that gift of communication to other families. And I was also doing photography on the side. I had this little baby and he was so patient and let me do anything. And I had my baby signs client, this is legit how I got started, would come to the house and see pictures of Jackson in my house. And they were like, can you take pictures of my kids? We just had a terrible experience. And I was like, sure, I would love it. I'd always loved taking photos. I was the one who always had a camera in my hand. And that's how it kicked off, word of mouth. And people I met, and I love it. I loved watching people grow through my lens. I love that I have a sophomore in high school now, and I'm taking senior pictures of kids that I took when they were babies.
Yeah,
so,
awesome.
it's such a cool full circle thing, but yeah.
Very nice.
So we'll talk about evolution.
That's absolutely, you're right, the best word for it, because you kind of think about, and when you talked about your education and ending up in a job where you had your degree, I am not working in a job in which my degree is. I went through that evolution, I think, as well, and I always tell people I have an art history degree, and I wanted to run the Smithsonian one day. I was going to conquer the art world, run the Smithsonian. I got into graduate school in England, and I was all packed up, ready to go, and then I volunteered at a museum, and I hated it. I was like, I can't spend thousands and thousands of dollars on an education in which wouldn't be in alignment with my values. And having a nephew who's starting to go into college as well, thinking about what do I want to do for the rest of my life? For an 18-year-old, that's a hard decision to make. Even sometimes I feel like I don't even know what I want to do for the rest of my life,
Right.
I'm in my 30s, and and there's that stigma of you have to stick to what you study in college.
Well, college is a huge investment, so there's a level of guilt there. You're like, how could I not continue? And you feel like you're abandoning it. But I feel like we're doing our high school students such a disservice by not letting them go out there. Take your kid to work.
Right.
We started out with take your daughter to work, to go to see. I was like, that should be a natural thing that happens. There are programs at the high school that are getting kids more internships and getting hands-on experience to see, is this something that I want? I was able to take a drafting class in high school. And on one summer I did work for an architect, but I was like, it was different. Like you need to get in there and see if that's right for you. But also I feel like people don't talk about their change of their career.
Right.
And I'll tell you that, like, the local photographers here, I can't tell you how many are engineers and involved. We've all had started somewhere else.
Right.
And found a passion, whether it was motherhood or a skill that you've discovered, or just a passion. So there's a lot of different reasons that you might get from point A to point B, but I think when we don't talk about it, you feel very alone. You feel like you can't take that on, and maybe that, feel guilt in abandoning your degree, when really it could open other doors. I actually use a lot of design aspects from my degree. I learned Photoshop in my degree, so actually I talk to other photographers who all use Lightroom and other programs because they don't know Photoshop as well. And I felt this guilt that I had to go out and get this program because that's what photographers use. And then I suddenly discovered that they don't know Photoshop as well as I do because I learned it for another reason.
Yeah.
So I have a further extensive background in it, and I can do what they were doing in a program that I knew like the back of my hand. So everybody has to just follow their own path.
Absolutely, and you get skills, and for me, it's the same thing. Art history taught me to be a writer.
Oh yeah.
So, even though I don't do anything with art history, it taught me a lot about colors and visual and how to write, and so those are skills that you can take with you. And so usually it ends up working out if you have the drive and the passion and the motivation, just like you have. I mean, when I first met you, I just knew. I was like, wow, she's so amazing and so passionate, and gosh, you made me feel so beautiful.
And if you're working in something that brings you joy, you're going to bring joy to your work. I have to say, I usually hit a little lull after the busy fall season, and I embrace it. And it's like my self-care, sit on the couch, you know, order in, watch some TV, and I kicked back into preschool photos this week. And I have to say, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to set the alarm, I'm gonna have to get up. BTW, I love working for myself. Like, this is early today. I love having control over my schedule and being able to be there for my kids for whatever it is. I schedule what I want to schedule. If it doesn't work, it doesn't happen. But going back to this week, I was like, oh, you know, here I go again. And all I had to do was sit down in front of those kids and have them come in and make them laugh and make them giggle. And I was like, yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of women are in positions where they aren't happy and they're not doing what they want to do, and they're not passionate. And just like you talked about bringing joy, I feel that women are in that mindset where they're stuck. And that's really what I help my clients with is, you know, how do we get unstuck? How do we get you in a position where you can bring joy, where it is in alignment with your personal and professional values? And it's so nice to hear it from another woman, which is why I figured, you know, hey, you are one of the most empowered women I know because, you know, you were there and you had to make some of those tough choices, and you did it and you were successful, and now you're just really, really happy and love what you do, and you're amazing at what you do.
Thank you.
I mean, I can't even tell you, she made me feel so pretty. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so knowledgeable too, like about the lighting and, you know, the angles, and I mean, I just was blown away. I think
that was a fun shoot too, and being here, we had a couple of different places. So, and we talked about that because our partner that was with us needed her headshots for a completely different reason, work, but a little bit more formal, a little more conservative. So we were able to make a couple changes and make sure that she had what she needed and you had what you needed. And that was great.
Two totally different, you know, needs in like an instant. Boom, we were able to make that transition. And so it was really, really cool. Let me have you really quickly talk a little bit about the services that you offer.
First off, you can email me, Farah, F-A-R-A, F as in Frank, at faldesign.net is the best way. I actually don't have a studio because I'm very much a natural light photographer. I work in the Makery, or I can come to your home. We do in-style sessions. Everyone's always like, well, will you do headshots? Will you do families? I said, it's me behind a camera. I'll do it all.
Yeah.
I do newborns, holidays, Penn State seniors, high school seniors, anything that you need. I'd love to get the challenge right. You know, I have a friend who's a jeweler. We're going to do some product shots this afternoon.
Nice.
So it's different because I'm like, oh, we're not getting happy smiling faces. We need to get in, and it changes up how we approach it. But I do it all. I have the lights in the backdrop that if you want more of a conservative, formal situation, I will bring it to you. It's not that you have to lug. So a lot of people with newborns love that because then they're at home and they have everything they could possibly need for their newborns. Let's shoot them there. You don't have to lug them with your diaper bag to a studio and hope and pray that you have enough diapers to make it through.
That's awesome. So how do we get in touch with you? So your website is faldesigns.net. How about your social media?
Social media, you can find me on Facebook at FAL Design Photography. On Instagram, I'm FlipPhoto29, which is FLIPPPHOTO 29. I might need to change that. It's a little long, but I like that because it's not a curated site. You'll get to know me, but you'll see my work, and you'll see a lot of the things I do. The other ways to find me is following the Makery PA on Instagram and on Facebook. And as far as finding out other things that I do, we talked about sessions and family sessions and all that stuff, but we do stuff at the Makery here. Kelly Clark, the makeup artist, we do headshots, which is where we met. Every so often we'll do that here, or we'll do it outside depending on weather. I teach getting off auto, youth photography. I teach photography camp for kids, which is one of them. I had no idea how much I was going to love teaching until we had this incredible space and we started doing it. We've got probably I think 12 resident artists doing everything from knitting, sewing, painting, jewelry, photography, and I also do essential oils. I'm passionate about natural health and wellness and using my essential oils. So I just had a class last night and we sat here for 2 hours just nonstop talking about how to boost our immune systems and do that. And I love being able to bring people in, introduce them to the Makery, but that's a great way to find out any of my upcoming classes is through the Makery PA.
Amazing. Okay, we're gonna have to, we're gonna put that up here for you
Yeah.
guys so you can make sure that you check all that information out because it's gonna be worth your time to do it. Before we conclude, I have a little gift for you.
Yay, who doesn't like getting gifts?
Yeah, I know. I mean, for being so awesome and taking the time to do this
Yes.
with me, and then also sharing your story with everybody out there. All these women, they need to hear.
Yes, and for me, I talked to you before. I'm a New Yorker. I'm a fast talker. I talk about everything. I think through everything I've gone through in life, I've gotten through it because I had people. I had people that I spoke to that validated me when I talked and how I felt, and I had people that made me realize I wasn't alone.
Right.
Whether it was having a child with special needs, going through a divorce, or trials and tribulations of owning your own business, it's who you surround yourself with that will lift you up, and that's why
Absolutely.
I love what you're doing.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that as well, because that's another message that
Yeah.
I think a lot of women need to hear. You aren't alone, and
Yeah.
you know that's one of the awesome values that we have in pinkcollaronline.com. So what I have for you is, this is actually made by another woman entrepreneur. And it's a glitter mug. It's got the Pink Collar Online logo.
I love it. That's gorgeous. Oh my gosh, so much fun.
Yeah, it's handmade. I always figure, who doesn't need a little coffee mug or
And
something
supporting other women.
Yeah.
And right, you always need one. We made some awesome teas last night. I wish I had that. I was going to put it in here right now.
Nice.
Yeah, super cute. Thank you
Yes,
so
you're
much.
very
This is
welcome.
wonderful.
Thank you for taking the time.
Ooh.